A significant difference between Homo habilis and both chimps and baboons was diet. Primates generally eat fruit and leaves, but there's not enough of these on the plains, not all year round, and so the plains apes became hunters as well as gatherers. And if not hunting, they were scavenging. Like all monkeys and apes, they had hands that had evolved originally for getting around in trees. They were surely one species that could steal a leopard's stored kill. And some of the stone tools that have been discovered suggest that they used their brains to make up for the lack of a leopard's cutting teeth. On the plains, they would have been as vulnerable to predators as baboons and would probably have traveled in the same kind of tight, coordinated bands. The places where their bones, teeth, and tools have been found suggest that they had home bases, perhaps on cliff sides. Their teeth tell us that large male canine teeth had given way to smaller, more human ones. Perhaps large teeth, used for defense and display, were no longer an advantage in a people now using tools and living in communities. Males needed new characteristics for a changing world. We may never know much more. And that's about all we can assume about the social life of Homo habilis and that chapter in our ancestry. But 500,000 years later, another chapter opens. It's the same East African plain, populated by virtually the same animals that surrounded Homo habilis. The humans, though, had been changing rapidly, evolving into a new animal. Homo erectus. Homo erectus made a living on the plains in much the same way that Homo habilis probably did, hunting and stealing kills from the bigger predators. But this human's brain was a good deal bigger than its predecessors, though still appreciably smaller than the modern human brain. While he existed, Homo erectus was the planet's intellectual, and he existed for about 1.5 million years, until modern man succeeded him a mere 200,000 years ago. Homo erectus was a prodigious traveler. He left fossils not only in Africa, but in the Middle East, China, Java, and Europe. From these fossils, we can make deductions about the social and sex lives of these people. For example, male skeletons are only 20% larger than female ones, about the same as humans today. And their larger brains meant larger heads, so babies had to be born even less developed in order to fit through the birth canal. Now a baby demanded more care than ever, and its survival depended on the constant effort of both mother and father. It was becoming important for females to find a mate willing to be a partner in rearing the young. That could have meant competition among the females for the best providers. For the smaller sex, competition is less likely to mean fighting than display. A female would have to signal health and fitness for childbearing. Swollen breasts could have evolved simply to attract males. Modern human females are the only primates that have permanently swollen breasts. Modern human females are also among the few female primates that don't signal when they are ovulating, when they are ready to conceive. That could have evolved as a way of keeping the valuable male providers guessing, of keeping them attentive all the time. These are the kinds of conditions that can allow for strong pair bonding. No one can know whether they were monogamous, but they were heading in that direction. In fact, monogamy, now the most common mating system among humans, could be a legacy that started with Homo erectus. What other legacies have been left us by our immediate ancestors and by evolution in general, both near and distant? If we looked at ourselves as though we'd never seen ourselves before, what could we make of the modern human? We would see an upright walking animal like Homo erectus, but slightly larger and with not very much size difference between the sexes. We'd see a lot of investment in a few young. We'd see family groups that included males, indicating that fathers help provide for the young. But we'd also see individuals that through the development of intelligence have become different from all other animals. Humans are said to be the only animals who can choose not to reproduce, whose intellects can override their genes. Even so, having a family is the focus of most people's lives, and human families are rich and complex. They're full of relationships, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, in-laws and cousins. They hold the generations together. Generations past their reproductive years help to raise their children's children. In societies as complicated as ours, families are our first all-important framework for learning about the world. And not surprisingly, it's much the same for other youngsters.